Hey there. So sometimes we do this two or three times when the lip sync is off for some reason, and it is still off, and I don't know why it's off, but we're going to go with it. Not sure what about this world makes that lip sync off, but the video and the audio, at least on my screen, are not going together. But hey, there's a reason. Remember this? I just don't know what it is. There is a reason to things, and sometimes we don't know what they are. Sometimes we don't know what they are for a very long time, and sometimes we may never know. I've had a couple of examples in my life where something went wrong, or I thought it went wrong. And for years, I thought that was a bad thing that happened. I embarked on a business adventure once, and it was disastrous. And or so I thought. And when I pieced the dots of my life together from that moment in time, that's one of the better things that ever happened to me. At one point, I remember because of that business venture, we were struggling financially, and I had taken and gone to an event, and I had to park the car in a parking garage, and I wasn't expecting the fee to be that so much. We were broke, and I used a credit card, and it had been at the limit. And when I charged that one extra charge, they canceled that card. They got mad at us, canceled that card. This was years and years ago, and it was a huge deal. And that event that I went to, that I parked the car, if you would have told me you could have all the benefits of this 20, 30 years from now, if you'll deal with these consequences, I would have said yes in a heartbeat. At the time, my wife and I were not happy about that. But boy, all the benefits that came from it. The business venture I mentioned before led me to a whole lot of things that actually turned out to be life-saving. And so when you look at things that happen to you, a lot of times they're for a blessing, and you don't even know it. I never would have guessed that those two examples I gave would have been so impactful on my life decades later. Both of them took decades to materialize, 20 and 30 years. But they did materialize as blessings, and I'm so grateful for them now. At the time, it was awful. But now, in retrospect, it's great. So what are the things you're struggling with? And what if you accepted the fact that, hey, this could be for a blessing, and I don't know why, but I'm going to just set this aside, and I'm not going to fret over it. I'm going to deal with whatever the consequences are. But somehow, this is going to be for a blessing. How would your days change? How would your approach to what comes next change if you knew that somewhere behind that terrible thing, that rough patch, that failure, that something good was coming? And we may never know what it was. Sometimes if you imagine you pluck a single event out of your life, what would not happen after that? In my case, it was some people I knew in one of the cases that actually led me to other people, that led me to other people, led me to other people that saved my life. And when you look at that, well, how you couldn't have known that. It just those pieces weren't evident, but now they are. And that gives me a way of looking at other things that happen on a daily basis. That gives me an opportunity that when somebody's telling me something, I say, hey, look, don't look at that as the end result. That's just what's happening now. So when you're looking at good stuff that happens, it's easy to take that in and say, wow, that's great. And wow, I have gratitude for that. But can you find gratitude in the rough things? Can you look at the rough things and say, someday down the road, this thing is really going to be for me. And I'm really grateful that I'm going through it now. Not intuitive, not easy, but give that a shot. You may be surprised 20, 30 years from now how the toughest things you've ever been through turn out to be great blessings for you. I hope this helps. Have a great, great, great day. I got to remember, I never remember to hit this button, but here it is.